Hello and welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. Today I'll be talking to Moses Jr. about complications and difficulties of living with sickle cell, especially when you're an inspiring artist. Moses came to my scenes because his father did an Instagram post which he candidly talked about sickle cell, about how he was upset about it. His father, which most of you know, is Beenie. He's the Grammy Award winning dancehall artist, made his revolution about his son on Instagram, where he encourages when he encourages people to talk about sickle cell and understand more about the disease. They currently live out in Jamaica, and I'll be speaking to Moses Jr., his son, who lives with sickle cell, to understand how difficult it is to live with sickle cell. Like most of you know, myself, I have sickle cell. I struggle with it, especially when I'm stressed or when I have to go through different change of temperatures. I want to know how Moses is coping. Who is Moses? Moses is an upcoming artist who's just released a track, Punchline, which also features himself and his father. In Jamaica, about 19,000 people have associated with living with sickle cell disease order. The Minister of Health and Wellness has also talked about this disease and how the country needs to do more. They started the testing screening program for people living with sickle cell, that we need to understand how best we can help these people, like myself. Meet Moses, the upcoming artist, as he talks about life living in his father's shadow or getting out of it, whichever way you want to say it, and how he's going to transform what his father has achieved to even bigger and better things for himself. Meet Moses. Moses, thank you so much for joining Painless Universal conversation with myself and Welsh. Um, you know,
Thank you for having me.
your father's tweet was what really caught my eye, because I know, as before we start, I don't know if you know this, I also suffer from sickle cell anemia myself. So
Right.
I've been living with it all my life, and it's been challenging, really, really difficult. But I think over time I realized what worked and what doesn't work, and I'm not guilty. I don't feel bad when I have to say enough. How are you?
Yeah.
How are you keeping today?
I'm quite fine today. I'm really okay. I'm like not feeling sick. I'm not
Yeah.
feeling like tired or anything. I just feel like refreshed and ready to go today.
Oh, great! I love that. I love when we just feel ready and up and go. You're an inspiring guy. You really are inspiring. Because many of us with living with a chronic condition are always scared to take our next step or two, because we always
Mhm.
think. And as I know myself, I mean, when I was much younger, I wanted to be a supermodel, and I was like, the only thing that kept me from doing it was just because I was always scared that what if I got sick on the day of casting or whatever. But you've been brave and you're going ahead and pursuing your dream. Before
Yeah.
we get into all of that, can you just tell me a little bit about who you are?
Well, I think, and I say this a lot. I think like I'm just a very humble person. Like I'm happy. I'm not really sad at all. Really and truly, like I'm just glad that I can live my life to the fullest as I can. And even with like having sickle cell, it doesn't really like, as I said, it affects me, but it doesn't get me down. I just know that whichever complication happens, I'll just bounce back up even stronger. So yeah, I'm just a very happy, joyful person, very humble,
Yeah,
really.
that's good to know. So, growing up, being who your father is, and I grew up listening to his music as a young person when I was much younger.
Yeah.
How did you want to transpire? What made you look up to, what was it that inspired you so much that you wanted to also to start doing the same thing in the music world?
Okay, so to be honest, it wasn't really my father that pushed me to do music. It was really, I think I found the passion myself,
Oh,
really and truly, when I started to listen to like other genres, and then I started to take a different approach to music. Um, I would say that I really started to listen to a lot of hip hop, and then that started to like push me to try and do something. So like before, I was a producer. I was making beats first, and then I think a couple years after, I decided to take a break to focus on songwriting and trying to become an artist. And I think after switching from being a producer to an artist, I kind of like got a different type of love for it. Like it's now my passion, and ever since I've just been going forward, really and truly. So
That is really
that was it. But even being in Manson, everybody used to ask me, "Oh yeah, are you an artist? Do you do anything with music? This and that." Yeah, I do, really and truly. But it's like it wasn't really how to say. It was my passion. I found my passion and I did it like myself.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I think that at the end of the day, you have to find who you truly are to for you to.
Yeah,
At the end, you're the one doing it. But how was it like
yeah.
growing up with your dad when you seen winning all these Grammys? How was that growing up as a child?
It was really inspiring, really and truly. Like with all the stage shows that he was doing, like all the shows, him traveling, him collecting awards,
Mhm.
him how to say, like just being on TV, just being like a legend, just knowing the name that he has and what he's done for the past what 30, 40 plus years,
Mm.
really, right? It was really inspiring, and I guess that kind of added to me wanting to the music as well, trying to be like him, or even better, maybe. We never know.
You never
You know.
know. I think that there's always a chance that you could actually be better as well because with all this technology and I mean with sickle cell that also gives us a bigger edge to fight on, and you never know where this might take you. With sickle cell, let's go to really the serious issue of sickle cell because I mean it's such a serious condition, but still not a lot of people know about it. I was actually surprised when I started doing my research about sickle cell in Jamaica, for example, about how many people in Jamaica alone has sickle cell, like a 19,000. How is sickle cell perceived out there?
um I I would say the treatment is very good out here, but the thing is, I would say the real big issue is the medication. Like that, I wouldn't even say that they wouldn't have it. It's not enough for how much people like have sickle cell. I guess if that makes sense, right? So I would say the treatment is nice. Like they actually know what they're doing. They actually like do checkups and how to say, like they treat each patient differently, right? So they understand the pain, they understand what's going on, and understand what they have to do, really. So I think the healthcare is really, or the healthcare is really great here, really.
That's good to know. That's good to know that there's an understanding about the illness and how to manage it. So with sickle cell, how does that affect your ability to keep thriving? Because I want one of the things that I see is that you do not even talk about it as much as you should, but someone who's an artist. But how does that affect you when you do your work?
Okay, so I would say it really just depends. I really tell anyone that asks me, it's like sickle cell, it kind of have a mind of its own. So I could be sitting here right now, fine,
Mhm.
writing, listening to beats, and then all of a sudden somewhere just starts to hurt, and then it spreads. So it really has it. I wouldn't even say music. Even me, like even doing stuff for fun, really and truly, it would really like put a toll on everything. But no, I think since after all these years, I kind of like know my body a lot better, know what I'm not supposed to do and what I am supposed to do, and just look out for any signs of anything. So I wouldn't say it doesn't really get to me as much as it would from before, really and truly, because I have a different look on it, to be honest with you.
What advice would you give other people who are struggling, trying to find their own grounds? Because a lot of sickle cell people I've talked to are very creative people. So, what kind of advice would you give them on how are you keeping yourself going?
Well, I have a wonderful family, wonderful parents that want to see me like thrive. I have a lot of, wouldn't say a lot of, I have friends that also want to see me like, live on and do me and, be the best person I can be. So it's, I would say really like just try and find your happy place. What really, whatever that is, it could be playing games, it could be traveling, it could be reading, could be anything in the world that just makes you happy. And I guess just roll with that, really.
Yeah, I love that. So your beats, tell me a little bit about your beats, your music and what you have upcoming for 2021.
Okay, well, I have a lot of projects upcoming for 2021.
Wow.
But before my beats, I still have them, but it's like they still need work, really and truly, because it was like, it was just something I was starting out doing, and then I really got like good at it, so I started doing it even more. Um, I have what? I have I'm working on an EP right now, right? Like a 7 or 8 track EP, just to try to get out there, try to get this music thing started because I've been kind of slacking. But I guess I'm since the whole COVID thing, I think I'm ready now. Really,
Yeah.
um, I've voiced. I think I have not think. Sorry, I have 2 tracks voiced, and I'm shooting a music video for. Not giving out too much information, but I would say just look out for that as well.
I know I because I read about them. There's a track you have, I think is it called Patchline, which
No punchline
Punchline.
with that.
That features you, your father. So I'm quite wait. I can't wait to see that one. Yeah. Yeah, so I because I read about that in the paper, so that's nice that you have this coming out. And if you could give us a word of inspiration from someone who's going around, someone like your dad who's is being successful in his own rights, what word of advice would you say you've learned from your father over the years?
I would say the one advice is practice makes perfect. Really and truly, nothing really comes overnight. So I would say once you believe in yourself and just continue to put in the work with whatever you want to do, you will be successful in life.
I like that. I think that's something we take such for granted. We think, oh, we've done it, we've tried it, and I've got people who said to me, I've tried it and nothing happened. But it's not about just doing it once or twice. You probably have to do it 100 times or a million times. Who knows? But if that's your passion, you just have to keep doing it. In a final note, regarding the COVID, the whole world in UK, for example, we're in a lockdown. We can't go out. We can't do anything except essential things. In Jamaica, how are you guys dealing with the whole pandemic, and how is that taking you guys by storm?
Well, as in it's everywhere, really and truly. It is everywhere. Like you cannot hide from it. But me, I've not been in contact with anybody. I like to stay, to myself. I have 1 or 2 friends that I would keep in contact with, but they know that I have sickle cell. They don't really want anything to happen to me, right? So it's I wouldn't even know how to explain it, but how with the COVID here, um, I would say that it's not being dealt with as it should, but it's not like I say it's not how I say getting too packed.
Is it really
Really,
bad? Is it so bad that so many people are dying, or is it manageable?
it's it's manageable right now. I think the government is really doing the best they can, really and truly. Just with what's happening, like they really can't control it, to be honest with you. But I really just think that the more people just try to listen to what they're saying, like just quarantine, stay 2 weeks, and then after you can do whatever you want to do. I just feel like if people would just, take that into consideration and just do that more, I feel like it would be way better than how it is now.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, Moses, I'm really delighted you took the time out of your crazy schedule, especially with all the pandemic and everything going on, to
No problem.
about giving me an update on how you were doing because I think it was one of my main concerns how you're doing living with sickle cell. Never easy, and also telling me about how life was growing up with a famous father of yours and learning from his footsteps. And hopefully, we all start seeing your own music everywhere, and one day you'll be one of these Grammy Awards winner coming soon. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. I'm glad that you invited me on this platform to talk about it as well.
Yeah, it's a very serious issue, and I think we just don't talk so much about sickle cell, and we try and neglect that subject. But I think the more we talk about it more openly, especially as people seeing yourself being who you are and you achieve, and it gives hope to so many, especially people in Africa. It gives them hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel. That we shouldn't just give up because we have sickle cell. We can still, inspire, look after us, and do things, and would be well. Thank you. Thank you so much for this.